silence. People slashed the wax tires and shot a bullet through their living room window.
It's very upsetting to think that your child has to go through that. And I did not want him to go through that. And I said, Brian, do you really want to go to school that bad? And he said yes.
In August of 1985, Ryan took his case to court. His 9-month battle sparked protests, boycotts, and parents' meetings.
You guarantee that my daughter will not get AIDS by August. If you can, then he shouldn't be in school.
I don't want to take the chance of my child being right next to him and maybe accidentally being sneezed on.
You know, I can't blame him for being scared because it was new to everybody at the time. And, you know, when you don't know about something, you're going to be afraid of it.
Yeah, but that's at 13 quite a heavy thing to find out that people can hate you just for being sick or different.
Yeah, well, they really didn't hate me. They just, you know, they were afraid of me. And eventually, you know, it got to the point where they didn't want anything to do with me there. They just wanted to, you know, keep me out no matter what.
25 of his classmates decided to stay away for fear of catching the deadly disease.
When most of Kokomo turned away from Ryan, the spotlight turned on him. At the height of the AIDS scare, one small boy's struggle with AIDS became a nation's obsession.
What did you think when you saw your son on the cover of People magazine?
Well, Ryan was very sick at that time, and I thought, you know, if you're going to be on the cover of a magazine, you want a portrait of your child, you know, really healthy and looks good, but that wasn't what he was.
Swept up by media and celebrities, Ryan made a decision to focus the attention he got on his disease. He took AIDS center stage at a benefit given for him by Elton John.
All you can get out of the association with Ryan White and his whole family is a sense of smallness. Ryan White is an example of probably the most tremendous courage and tremendous dignity that a young person could possibly show in his life, after to be shown such bigotry and such abuse.
It says you taught him a lot. What do you think you taught him?
That, you know, you have to be a fighter. And, you know, no matter what people say about you, you still have to stand up for what you know is right.
In the spring of 1986, Ryan finally won one fight, his right to return to school. But he began to lose his battle with AIDS. He was vomiting every 20 minutes, and his weight was down to 60 pounds. It was then that he told his mother he didn't want to die in Kokomo.
I really didn't feel like he had much longer to live, probably. Deep down, I really didn't think he did.
Why didn't you want him to die there?
I didn't think... I wanted it to be in a happier place, not where there was so much bitter and hostility. I felt like Kokomo needed to break from us as much as we needed to break from Kokomo.
Seems to me you lived your life like a candle in the wind.
Ryan found a cemetery he liked in nearby Cicero, and with a loan from Elton John, the Whites made the 25-mile move. Here, they were welcomed. Whether it was a sympathetic community or Ryan's own will, his health steadily improved. And finally, he was ready to try a new school.
Were you nervous at all this morning?
Oh, yeah. I was terribly nervous.
What do you feel like now?
I feel really good about this school. I like it a lot.
Did you believe it at first?
Not really, you know. And when I went home that night, I couldn't believe it. They were so... I said, Mom, they were all really nice, and it was just so amazing.
Jill Stewart, a friend and neighbor, remembers Ryan's first day at school.
He came on his guard. He was apprehensive, but it used to be an awkward thing that he'd just be like, thank you for just letting me be here. And you're like, Ryan, you know, we want you here. And so I know that how he didn't expect it to be like it was.
How did you turn before? What did we do to you as kids?
Well, you know, it's giving me a more positive attitude, of course. And, just to feel like you're not fighting it alone, you've got other people fighting it with you.
Yeah, right. We have negative times, negative.
Accepted at last, still Ryan chose not to spend his free time like other kids, but rather to intensify his crusade.
Constant lack of education on AIDS, discrimination, fear, panic, and lies surrounded me. I became a target of Ryan White jokes. I was labeled a troublemaker, my mom an unfit mother, and I was not welcome anywhere.
Last summer, Ryan spoke to a convention of 10,000 teachers at the Superdome. It was, he said, a group that needed educating.
See the children tomorrow.
Ryan, who are you doing this for, this speaking?
Well, basically for everyone who has AIDS. People just aren't listening, and we have to make them listen.
Do you think you're finally getting it across?
Yeah, I think a lot more people are not afraid of AIDS now, and they're not afraid of someone who has it. And I think they're more willing to accept people who have AIDS.
Good. That's fine. Stay right there. That's good.
After 4 years of speaking out, Ryan White had become a celebrity himself. But the fame he's received has exacted a price.
I think he's just tired of being known as the AIDS boy, really, and he's known everywhere he goes. And the signing of autographs and all that, I think that's fun at first, but I think that it gets old because then it's like, why are you signing autographs? It's because I have AIDS.
What do you think all of this being in the spotlight has done to you?
It's opened up a lot of your private life, and you've got a whole lot you can do without somebody wanting something to do with it.
Does it take away the kind of feeling of having a normal life that you've worked so hard to achieve?
Yeah, but someday everybody's going to listen and it's going to be over, and I feel like we've done our job.
Then you'll stop talking.
Yeah.
You must hope that soon.
Yeah. Want to get some comics? All the way upstairs. I'll take the elevator.
I don't feel so good.
Next week, Ryan will make his acting debut, playing a small role in a TV movie about his life.
Why should I get one? Say, no way, what for? Why do I need one?
Ryan coached the actor who played him, working 13-hour days over his summer vacation. For Ryan, this is the culmination of everything he's worked for.
You ought to get one.
Do you ever wonder why this happened to you?
Maybe it happened to me so it wouldn't happen to anybody else. I don't know.
Ryan, you have had extraordinary success fighting this disease. Do you think you can keep fighting?
I don't know, give him the best shot.
Ryan has come a long way from his days at Kokomo, and while he may not be winning the fight against AIDS, right now he's holding his own. With help from the drug AZT, he's survived longer than most of the country's 83,000 AIDS victims. Jeanne White is hoping her son lives long enough to see a cure, but she's also realistic.
I've had him with me 4 years now, where we thought that he wasn't going to live. And I feel like we've had a miracle even with 4 years.
So would that be enough if that's all you had?
Well, no. Is anything ever enough?
Your candle burned out on the pole. Your legend of a
Ryan White lived 5.5 years with AIDS, which was a very, very long time for somebody to live with AIDS. Especially we did not have no meds, we had no medicines, and no way of really treating people with AIDS at that time. Why did he live so long? Everybody wonders that. But I think it was his determination. He had a purpose in his life. He had to accomplish something. He wanted to accomplish being able to go back to school, and he wanted to educate people about AIDS. I think that gave him that drive to live. In 1984, Ryan was only 12 years old, and he was very sick that year. He was very sick. He had a lot of colds and fevers, and it just seemed like all year I had him to the doctor all the time, and they kept saying, well, there's a lot of colds and flu going around. And we thought, well, okay, that's what it is. But he went to Hemophilia clinic at the end of November of 1984, And the hemophilia clinic notified me the next week that he had had hepatitis within the last year. And I said, well, that's why he's been so sick. Well, it was just beginning. Ryan turned 13 on December the 6th. He turned 13. We had a birthday party for him, like most kids do when they turn 13. It's very special. Ryan, just a couple days after that, he got off the school bus. He come in the house. He said, Mom, you got to do something. He said, I am so tired all the time. He said, I can't even get off the school bus without being tired. He said, we had to run a lap today at school, and the teacher got real upset. Said, Mom, I couldn't finish. He said, I don't understand what's wrong with me. And it was just a couple days after that, he started running these real high fevers. 104. They put him in the hospital, and he was diagnosed with pneumonia in both lungs. Well, he kept continuing to get worse. They kept treating him for bacterial pneumonia, and he never got any better. They kept coming in and pounding on his chest and saying, Ryan, if you want to get better, you've got to cough this stuff up. Ryan, just totally exhausted, said, Mom, why won't they listen to me? There's nothing down there to cough up. Well, finally, they decided that there had to be something else wrong with this child. They transferred him to Riley Hospital. There he was diagnosed with pneumocystis, which meant he had AIDS. They needed to do a 2-inch biopsy out of his left lung. And there was no AIDS test at the time. There was no way of knowing, so they had to send the results to Denver, Colorado. And I said, well, you know, Ryan's not supposed to have any surgeries. He said, this kid's going to die if we can't find out what's wrong with him. I consented. They sent him into surgery. They did a biopsy. They took 2 inches out of his left lung. They sent it to Denver, Colorado, where the results came back that he had pneumocystis, which meant he had AIDS. They were treating him for bacterial pneumonia, and come to find out he had a viral pneumonia, which that is why they constituted it as being AIDS. At that time, yeah, only 3 to 6 months to live. As a mom, that is pure hell, because every cough, every fever, you worry about whether it's going to be the last. You worry about whether you're doing enough. You wonder whether you're looking at the right things, if you're researching, because there was all this information that was trying to come out, but nothing was ever amounting to anything. And you couldn't even research one when there would be another drug, another drug. Everybody says, why did you go public? Well, we never went public, but we really didn't know not to either.